Are you an entrepreneur or ready to become a boss? Welcome to Hawaii Boss, the business podcast made in Hawaii, where you will hear from island movers and shakers on who they are and their impact on our state. And now, step into the office of your host for Hawaii Boss, David Pettyjohn.
Aloha, Hawaii Boss crew, listening in out there for another great episode of Hawaii Boss. Today we're going to go into the boss's office with Inga Kaplan. Who's Inga Kaplan? This boss's office I like. It's a bakery, but it's not your average ordinary bakery. It's Rawberry Desserts. This thing was launched in November of 2020. Rawberry Desserts' mission is to make 100% healthy and nutritious desserts for the Oahu community. All of these desserts are raw, vegan, gluten-free, all that, made only from natural and organic ingredients. I mean, you can eat this stuff for breakfast, cake for breakfast. No refined sugar, artificial colorants, and preservatives. They say their desserts are perfect for most food sensitivities. They do have some nuts in them, but that she can make some without nuts. Preferences, restrictions, allergies, they can also be made sugar-free, keto. Listen, these guys are crazy about keto. Rawberry Desserts got what they need. They're the best for toddlers, even babies, expecting and nursing moms, and for people not able to enjoy traditional desserts, with diabetes and different things, allergies. If you think you can't find a healthy gluten-free dessert or one that suits your preferences, you haven't tried Rawberry Desserts yet. And so Inga Kaplan, raw vegan desserts chef. She's got a great, interesting story in how she come up from opera singer to vegan chef. Welcome, Inga.
Thank you so much, David. It's an absolute pleasure.
Sure. So, well, it's my pleasure because, listen, Rawberry, anything that says dessert on it, I'm in, okay? I think anybody's in, but, Rawberry takes us in a different turn. We'll talk about your natural ingredients, and we'll get into the detail and where that comes from. But first, we want to know a little bit more about you and, what brought you to this place. Usually there's a story of work in their life. Can you tell us a little bit about, if you recall, your very first job, paying or not? What was your first steady thing that you had to do?
My very first job when I was 18, and it lasted, that's my longest job I've ever had. It was for 9 years.
Oh, wow.
I was actually an opera singer in my country, in Latvia.
Now wait a minute. We're going to make this jump somehow. Okay, so you're a professional opera singer in Latvia.
Yes, I started in I used to sing in an opera choir and then Latvia National Opera for 9 years. Yes, mm-hmm. So and everything I did afterwards was quite a change.
Yeah, that is different. So, I mean, how did you? That's sort of a specialty. A career path. Certainly, you must have had some. It must have started much before you were 18. The work that you put in to become an opera singer didn't start at 18.
Yes, I've sung since I remember myself. When I was a baby, I used to climb on tables and just sing whenever I saw a table. So it was kind of I was blessed with a good voice and talent, and I mm-hmm. started in opera as soon as I was able to work.
Right.
Being in 9 years into it, I kind of understood. It is a lifestyle. You're right. You do it for a career. It's a lifestyle. But I was very young, so I kind of figured out I do want to try something else and maybe go travel abroad and I traveled afterwards. So that's how I made a decision, just to completely change and see what's out there, see what's out in a big world.
Well, so Latvia probably didn't go straight to Hawaii, or maybe it did. Yeah. A circuitous route. Tell us about how you, after, what was your first exploration after? Okay, it sounds like you were kind of like, this is from your young age that you wanted to do this, but now you wanted to expand your horizons. Once you know this sort of little field, which is a small field, right? There's only a few people that do it well. And so, well, isn't there another life out there? Isn't there different things that people do? You're curious. And so where did your curiosity lead you?
Yes, I did a couple of jobs before I ended up actually in Dubai, and I worked for Emirates Airlines as a flight attendant, and that's where I did all my traveling. I was very, very lucky to travel with that amazing airline all over the world. For 5 years, it was just nonstop flying, and that was one of my other dreams come true. And I saw almost every bit of all the world. And yes, and that's at the end I met my husband. So that's another story.
Well, that seems just like sort of a charmed life a little bit, that one thing led to another, that as you opened up your horizons, you kind of knew that there was some things that you wanted to do. My daughter right now, she's 18, and she wants to do that for the same thing. She wants to go explore and travel. And as a flight attendant, there's lots of opportunities, but you also you spoke a couple of languages that also helped as a flight attendant.
Actually, well, I learned English at school, but not until I actually went and started working in Dubai, I learned it to be fluent.
Mm-hmm.
So I still sometimes I get caught up on some words in English, but yeah, that's where I actually gained all the knowledge and skills.
Well, yeah, great opportunity to do that, explore the world and find different. You get to meet so many different people and different things. So you, at the end, sort of this. How long were you a flight attendant?
For 5 years, and then I traveled in my free time. I traveled wherever I wanted to travel on my dream destinations. And one of these destinations were Alaska, and that's where I met my husband. And he is American. He's from Colorado, and that's how all the puzzle kind of put together itself, and that's why I moved to the States.
You found some sort of Alaska, Colorado mountain man, and just
that had exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, well, that sounds like we're going to be writing a book here about this, Inga. But
yeah, and then I end up in Hawaii and open a business.
Yeah, so tell us that. I mean, everyone's got a story, how they get to Hawaii, and certainly you've explored the world. I'm sure you hopped off there in and out as you were, as a flight attendant possibly, and so what was the avenue that brought you here?
Well, Dubai definitely has played a very, very huge part in my life. All the traveling and impressions, what I gained by living there, and definitely in the warmth. I got used to the warmth. I come from the cold country, and I don't like cold. I can't live in cold anymore. So we lived in Colorado, and we decided to make this happen, to move to Hawaii. I needed warmth. I needed to be close to the water because that's how I grew up. And we made it happen, and very, very grateful for how all that puzzle, put together.
Yeah, sometimes it's a challenge finding, for people trying to make it over here in Hawaii, that each spouse, because of the expense and things, each spouse has to work, and trying to find, it really becomes a challenge. Did you feel like it was easy for you, or more difficult than expected making that transition to Hawaii?
It was kind of easy. We're both pretty adventurous, if you got the feeling ready.
Right, so put on a backpack and you guys are ready to go wherever, right? Just hop on a plane.
Yes, but we had a baby when we moved to Hawaii, so it was all really, really planned for a couple of years, of course. But no, I found it easy because, especially because of my experience as flight attendant and customer service, I knew that in Hawaii, somehow, somewhere, I will find a job because it's such a huge tourism industry.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's exactly happened. I was amazingly lucky to find a job in first 2 months with Four Seasons here on Oahu.
Yeah.
So that was my first job here.
Yeah, you brought all of that experience with you, and that's a good message out there to all those folks listening in too. Is like, that just because you never had that experience in that one job doesn't mean that you're not able to transfer those skills to another job.
Absolutely.
The same thing. Yeah.
You just have to be willing to do it. You have to be adventure enough. It's if there's so many things can hold you back, but more about just taking the leap of faith.
And so you were excited. Things were moving. Hotel industry. It's busy, and you're like, go. And then all of a sudden something happened in 2020.
Yes, I mean the all the tourism industry, it was so busy. It was so much work, and it was nonstop. It was a very, very long days of working. I was a manager in a restaurant, so it was. I think for 2 years I spent. I saw my work colleagues more than I saw my husband or my
Right.
baby, which now I think is like, oh my goodness, I don't want to be there again
Right.
anymore.
Right.
But then yes, pandemic happened, and I was actually expecting my second baby when I was about to give birth to my second baby when pandemic happened, and then it honestly for me it was a blessing for me and my family, because it kind of put values back where they should be for myself and my family, and it changed a lot for us, and just for more it turned something bad into something positive for us.
Right. It really made, what necessity is the mother of invention, they say. So this really did force a lot of us to reevaluate what are our priorities.
Yes.
And but I got to walk it back just a little bit now. All of a sudden you're running a restaurant, okay? So that's a kind of a big leap there, Inga. So where did you get this food service background? That must have been something in your family's experience or somewhere along the way. You can't just hop into I mean, tell us how that happened.
Well, when I moved to the States, we lived in Colorado, as I said, for a couple of years, and that's when I worked in restaurants, and that's when I got to know. In Europe, restaurants are completely different; they're run completely different. So it was a different world for me to learn it. But definitely, that's where I grew my skills.
Sure, but you never did that beforehand in your family and restaurant business or anything like that?
Not specifically, but my mom worked all her life in a hotel as a pastry chef.
Okay.
For
all right. I'm starting to
I
see the
know.
connection here. I'm starting to see the connection. So her whole life, that's what, how long was she, pastry chef, that, the early mornings and lots of...
Yes, it changed. She worked actually in the biggest and best hotel at that time in Latvia as a pastry chef, and she changed. I remember as a kid, she would have night shifts, and I would go with her and just, help out. That didn't really help. Probably I just made it worse.
Right.
But it was fun for me. But honestly, I know whenever I tell people my mom was a pastry chef, they go like, yeah, I see. But no, because
No.
everything I did in my life, all my education, all my jobs, I told my mom I will never be a pastry chef, and I will never work in a hotel. And I don't know how that circle closes.
Right. Well, sometimes you only know what you know, and or what you grew up on too, and so it's natural to fall back into that. I think I grew up in a bakery, and I think I used that while I was going to school. That helped. I knew how to get around, and then I became a dietary manager. So there's different avenues. Again, if you're willing to try something different.
Yes, true.
So it sounds like this all the hotels went down to, when I came at the end of March in 2020, that was right when the lockdown happened, and it was a ghost town, like paper, whistling in the wind as it's rolling down the street, and there was nobody. And so obviously, that just decimated the hotels, and you guys got to reprioritizing and reevaluating. And where did that lead you?
Yeah, so yes, as soon as the pandemic reached here in Hawaii, I was furloughed, and many people who I know from Four Seasons, we were all furloughed for even more than a year. Well, I was busy with my baby. I just gave birth to my baby, so it's not like there was nothing for me to do. I had quite full hands. And then, honestly, David, I don't even know. One day I just decided, let's do this, because I have a huge sweet tooth. All my life I have bought so many treats and sweets and everything what I could find. But since I moved to the States, I actually found it difficult because I never was able to actually enjoy American sweets, because for me they're too sweet. They're too sweet. They even taste all. I'm spoiled. My mom was a pastry chef, so I have I could eat everything.
Famous Latvian
natural.
pastry chef, right?
Yes. So I really struggled, and then with children, I understood more and more that I don't want sugary stuff I can buy in whatever store. I want something healthy for them.
Right.
And then I started looking around that, oh my goodness, there's actually nothing out there which is delicious and healthy, and I can eat and without any guilt or feel bad feeding it to my children.
Right. It's not it's not going to take away from their health, which a lot of that other stuff is just fat and sugar and
Yes.
and white bleach flour, and it's just a giant nothing burger. Right? I don't know. It doesn't do anything. It does worse for you than do anything. But
Absolutely.
but it tastes so good.
It was, I don't know, it was actually a shock for me when I thought about it. Like, we live in this like modern world, like with we have all the ingredients what we could wish for, what my mom didn't have. And then we don't really have much out there for healthy desserts. And it came really as a shock. And I still remember that evening I was sitting with my husband and I was just joking, I'm just going to do it. And I was just thinking about my company's name that evening, not even making a first cake.
Right.
So
Well,
it was kind of,
You get sometimes that helps to shape the idea a little bit. Okay, this is where we're going. This helps to shape the mission and the vision. Yeah. Sometimes people start with a name. Sometimes people have a vision. What's your purpose? And I think it says it in the name. It describes your name, right? Rawberry. It's natural desserts. That's what it says to me. It screams, natural whole, natural food desserts.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. They're all raw, all only natural. There's organic. There's no artificial colorants or preservatives, because which was shocking when I got more into it, that who eats the most those all artificial colorants, preservatives? These are our children, because we give them colorful candies all the time.
Right.
And
everything's got that color in it. The yogurts,
and it's just, for me, it was like I in my mind I kind of made a mission just to focus on children, to create those desserts for children. Their children can taste something else and they can maybe grow up with something else.
Right, and there's a lot of allergies and things that people are having now too, that they can't feed their children any sort of. So this is like how is it described? Because I know the people who don't eat this really know the verbiage on how this works. If they're is it vegan? Is that how you?
Yes. So the official word for these desserts is raw vegan desserts.
Okay.
I maybe particularly don't like that word so much, because for me it's more about healthy, really.
Right.
Because I don't want to label desserts as vegan, because people who are not vegan, then they might never try them.
Right.
But it's more, for me, it's about really healthy. If you want a dessert, you can have something really nutritious at the same time, which sounds completely weird when you talk about desserts, but that's true. Because the desserts I make, they are 100% plant-based. It means I make them from nuts, fruits, seeds, berries. There's nothing else in there. Right.
Now that poses a challenge, because the regular way that we've all been growing up on cakes and things is baking soda or baking powder, and let's get it raised up here and let's hurry this thing along. But it's a special technique, and also can be challenging if you mess up the recipe. That's a lot of money to put into it's a lot of raw good material, and then somehow if you mess that up, that can be a really sort of a expensive oops. But so how do you learn how to where did you learn how to make these very specialty sort of desserts?
So I kind of was experimenting with by myself, with my family, because my husband also prefers these kind of desserts, and then When I started business, honestly, I just didn't know what I'm doing. I just took a leap of faith. And I had few recipes I could make, but then, then people start asking me something else. And I was like, oh my goodness, what I got myself into, like how what I'm going to do. And there are two wonderful teachers out there. One is in Canada, another one is in Florida, and I've taken raw desserts courses from them, and they gave me the confidence, the knowledge, the skills, and right now I feel confident. If you want me to make, I don't know, potato cake, David, I got you.
Potato cake, and it's going to taste good.
Yes, I've made actually Ube Ginger Cake, and you just gotta try it to believe that it tastes good.
that sounds good. I mean, again, good raw natural things. They're refreshing. And it's not like it's, oh, I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna pay for this later. Usually when you're eating cake, it's like, I'm gonna pay for this later. Like, oh, this is good for me. So yeah.
Yes.
No, I was gonna say, well, I mean, it's just such a shift. So what is the response so far? People, as they come knock on your door, you've got a great website here.
Yes. So it took time because, again, I just didn't know what I'm getting myself into. I started from -0. There was nothing. So it's just constant learning, making cakes, buying equipment, ingredients. And at the same time, I'm a mother with 2 children and trying to do website and menu. And it's still like this every day. But there are people, I feel, especially with this pandemic, that people are becoming more conscious about what they put in their bodies, what food they choose. And we have a huge and growing vegan community here in Hawaii. Not necessarily raw community, but more eliminating some foods from their diet. But I also have, of course, I've had people who text me and they want to try a cake and they ask me, is it going to taste like a cardboard?
Oh, no.
So,
because of course. You're insulting me already. You're asking me, no, it's not going to taste like cardboard. I wouldn't put this out there.
No, because I understand, of course, it sounds completely weird that you can actually make a delicious and healthy cake at the same time. But for me, it's a compliment because somebody is willing to try.
Right.
And he is looking for my guidance for he can make that final decision. Yes, I'm going to try. And believe me, I've had people who, it's very difficult to buy a whole cake if you don't know what it is. But people have bought, and I have those customers coming back and back now every month. People who before that never tasted a raw vegan cake.
Yeah, and your website has pictures of these different cakes. Is there certain ones that? Well, is there one that you prefer, or what's the funnest one to make?
Oh, funnest one. I like those cakes, and I like when I have time for those cakes to really play with decorations, because I think I was born with creativity. That's why I was singing, and now that singing kind of translates in decorating my cakes, I believe. And the fun one, I like to play with decoration for any cake.
So it kind of lets it's sort of a creative. It's like a creative outlet for you.
Yes.
So where do you get your? Well, that's that question. Where do you get your ideas? But what kind of, on the top it looks like there's marshmallows and stuff on there. I know there's not marshmallows on there, and I don't want to give away all your little secrets. Hey, I put this on here. It looks like marshmallows, but what are some of the things that are in these cakes that you wouldn't think that they're, it looks, what is that thing on the top there? That one with it looks like marshmallows.
That probably the one you think that might be marmalade. So that's actually a very brand new product. That's plant-based marmalade, and it's as clean as it can get. There's, for example, grapefruit marmalade. I make grapefruit juice. I put a natural sweetener, which is maple syrup, and I put a natural setting agents, and that's it.
Wow.
And I love to play with it. It's you can create so many flavors: coffee marmalade and hazelnut marmalade, and it's a beautiful decoration and beautiful gummy bear treats for kids.
So it's a little bit of a binder for all of the stuff. If you got layers or whatever, it helps with the layers and things like that too.
Yeah, I can put marmalade in cakes. Yeah, I love to play around with these ideas, and yeah.
Well, it sounds like there's so many different flavors too. You can really sort of, what's the one that maybe mirrors or mimics the most like a regular cake, or the flavor that's most like do you have like is chocolate vegan? Because,
Yes, you can make it vegan. So all my chocolates are raw. Yeah, raw vegan. So all my cakes, they have the best to understand. It's like a cheesecake texture.
Yeah, because they set a little bit, and it's kind of a nice creamy. That's the thing.
Yes.
So if it's not too wet, you can't have it too wet. It's got to be just that nice.
Yes,
thing.
it's very, very soft and creamy textures. They are cakes, but they are more complex cakes, which can be which imitates the traditional cake. And if I would give somebody who doesn't know if he's eating traditional raw vegan cake, he would never guess, because there are techniques how you can make that sponge it seems like you just baked it. So,
well, see, now I think there's a lot of people who are trying to get clean as far as with their food too, as far as folks who are working out and these folks who are, but they can have this and access to this. It's a great opportunity. So where do you see this going as the word gets out and people continue to come and get some of those Rawberry cakes there? What maybe the person who's on the fence, what would you say to the person who's on the fence? Maybe I'll come in, maybe I won't.
Honestly, that's why I started being at Cacao Farmers Market on Saturdays, because I know that people don't know these desserts yet, and I'm the first one here on Oahu doing this, and it's really difficult to be the very first one, because you have to pave the road and you have to clean everything.
Right.
So
and there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Like they call you and
Yes.
say, hey, is this a cardboard box or what, what is this,
Exactly. So
Right.
so that's why I'm forcing myself, waking up early every Saturday, go to Cacao Farmers Market where people can come and actually sample. And I have, if I normally make only cakes, then there people can come and get like smaller pieces, and they can eat straight away and understand, okay, they like it or they don't.
Right. You're getting the message out by, that's the best
Yes.
way is through experience, that experiential sort of, they can see it online, but until they put it in their mouth and, experience it. Right. Well, that's a great
Absolutely.
idea. Now there's a lot of people that do that, there's these, their business, it's the best way to get that word out is to go out to these vendor fairs. There's one up at the top of KCC.
Yeah.
That on I think every other couple of Saturdays or whatever, they have that up there, and it really brings these, it's an opportunity for businesses to really show their wares and make that happen. What I guess the best way to ask this is, that's the kind of, it feels like when you're starting a business, that's the kind of effort you have to put in. It just doesn't come to you. It just doesn't come, right? So you're saying you're putting a lot of hours in. You've got 2 kids and you're putting a lot of hours. You're getting up early and doing this on your Saturday and this. I mean, is it more work than you thought it was going to be?
It is. Because when I started, again, I thought I'm just going to do it for fun. I'm going to make maybe 1 cake per week and I'm going to be happy. Right now I'm making, I don't know, 15 cakes per week, and I'm doing farmers market.
Now, all right, now let's do that. Let's do the math. Because we need to know the labor cost here, right? You have to value your time value. So 15 cakes.
15 for a very good week, because I can't do more.
Right, that's a busy week. So you're talking,
Yes.
So you're doing 2 to 3 cakes a day.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're probably, you probably have are you going to have to get a bigger kitchen?
I'm actually starting to think about it right now. I'm very lucky because I still can do it in my little corner and make all the cakes happen. But it took only a year, and this is just right now really exploding, and people are realizing that these cakes are great and delicious and healthy, and I'm starting to think, if this goes even explodes even more, then maybe in the next 6 months, yes, I need bigger space. I need somebody to help me because
Yeah, bigger space. Since we can't clone you, you have to hire someone else now. And now that's some of the challenge too, is the expense of being an employer. You know what I mean? That's a challenge. What are your thoughts as you begin to consider bringing other folks on and doing different things like that?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't even thought so much about it right now because again, when I actually started being more serious of business, I learned all the things I didn't even know, that now I have to pay business taxes. Now I have a sales tax I have to, like, there's just so many things I didn't even thought about.
Right.
So my husband is, honestly, I thank him every day. He's my biggest helper. He's doing all the numbers.
Okay.
I never see any money. My husband has all the money and all the numbers. I just make cakes.
You're just making the cakes.
But yes, but definitely together with him, we will also decide, yes, how it's going to go further if it gets even busier.
Right. Now, and these are these transition points where, especially family businesses, they really have to evaluate whether or not they're willing to make that commitment, because then they know, okay, if I jump to this level, this is a 2-year commitment or a 1-year experiment or whatever it is. And so those are tough questions. And I think folks starting new businesses right now are brave. So I'm giving you kudos to you for jumping out there and doing it. Yeah. Well, I mean, for real, it's a scary thing. Like you say, you don't know how to do it, but you believe in this and you want to do it, and so you learn as you go. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. What would you say to someone who's maybe afraid, says, I don't think I can do it?
Honestly, if there's something really, if you have a mission or passion, for me, really the biggest motivator when I started was I just want my kids to eat healthy treats. Mm-hmm. And I want other kids to eat healthy treats, because there was so many times I went to birthday parties and I see those red and blue and green and yellow cakes. And it's like, and I was screaming inside that I don't want kids to eat it.
Right.
So, and I would say, if you have this motivator, this passion and big idea about something, just do it, because the more you will think that you can't do it, then you can't do it. Mm-hmm. And when I started, maybe it was good that I started from -0 and I didn't know absolutely anything, because I didn't know what I'm going to be dealing with. And because if I had known, I would have never started this. But and of course I've had like low times and high times and low times, but then I meet these amazing people who come to me to farmers market, and they tell me how much they appreciate the desserts, how much they appreciate what they do, how much they like it, and just it makes it all worth it. It really does.
And they can go to, it's rawberrydesserts.com, RAWBERRY desserts.com.
Yes.
And go to just the whole menu there with different selections and ways to get in touch with you, and get some custom designs available as well. So you can, all that special marmalade that you sound there. I think you could, can you make a tiramisu?
Oh, tiramisu is one of my best.
She's like, that's easy. That's easy. She said, tiramisu, that's nothing. Yeah, because that's a fave, and then what are some other, anyway, we all love desserts, and it's that's part of living on the earth, is to, enjoy some of the bounty that is ours. And gosh, I wish we had more people growing this stuff too, the different fruits, so we had it more available to us.
Yes.
And that would be helpful, and that we all had access to those kind of things at a reasonable price, because those good things are kind of expensive, and it feels like it's going up.
Yeah, that's the painful part about this business, because yes, it shouldn't be so expensive, and it shouldn't go up, as you say, but it is, and that's the sad part. But
have you noticed any recent sort of things that are markedly increased from what you normally purchase the price at lately?
Yes, some berries and fruits, and I do need to ship a lot of my ingredients from the mainland, and that's also the most painful part about this business about living in Hawaii, that I always need to pay for shipping fees, which like mainland gets everything for free.
Oh, all your Amazon orders, right? All your
well,
or whatever orders, yeah.
Yeah, the wholesale ingredient suppliers, and there's always a shipping fee to Hawaii, and it's not a little shipping fee.
Right, and that's how some of these other businesses, like Starbucks and these other ones, they do well because they can bulk materials, and they can do these. But a little mom and pop, or little one owner type of thing. It's almost like we need like a shipping consortium or something like that, where we all get together and say, hey, this might be
and
good
do
if we
that.
can all, but it's the shipping company's got to make money, and it's a challenge for them right now too. But hopefully we can. But again, I want the prices to go down so I can get some of those good berries in a pie or a cake. Is it now you do pie or cake too? Because again, people like different kinds of different things in different forms too.
Yeah, actually, now for Thanksgiving, I have pecan pumpkin pie, and it's all raw, of course, and it's sweetened only with dates. So it's there's some people who even has joked with me then probably for their Thanksgiving dinner, this would be the healthiest thing on the table.
Well, I don't think it sounds like it's a low calorie, but it's healthy.
Yes, it's still high. It's still high calories because it's dates, it's nuts, but it's definitely different. It's not empty calories. They are nutritious calories. Yeah, and they're so dense that's
you feel full afterwards, or you feel that the weight of it. Yeah, dates. Yeah, that's always been a great sort of go-to sweet tooth type of thing you can jump to instead of having a candy bar or something like that. A good date is always nice.
Yes.
But now you've got to every once in a while. Don't you just go out and get some ice cream or something? How about you, Inga? Do you do anything outside of the freshen stuff for yourself?
I don't, David. I really don't. I know it sounds. I don't, because I just.
You don't eat a donut every once in a while, like a fritter, an apple fritter.
I because whenever I eat something what has refined sugar in it, for me, it tastes even more different right now. For me, I can't even enjoy it anymore. Yeah, refined sugar, it's not something I like anymore.
Right. Well, you already had sort of that, that variation from your European upbringing to
yes.
to there. Yeah, you had mentioned, and so taste is different, and so I think people can appreciate probably your skills and what you bring to the table. Now, tell me, it doesn't sound like you have free time.
No, I don't. No,
so
and
this is the lament of the business owner. I don't have time for myself. When am I going to go enjoy the benefits of this business? Everyone thinks like, hey, you're a business owner. Now you can just draw money from the thing and just go on vacation all day long, right? Who's going to make the cakes?
No, this is something, maybe. No, I guess it's never going to change. I'm trying to take Sundays off. I'm really trying, but yeah, as you say, like running the show by myself, it's just so many messages every day. It's so many orders. It's planning. It's and of course, people need answers. They're not going to wait 2 days until I answer them about the cake.
Right.
So yeah, no, I don't. I need to get better at it.
Well, sometimes again, some people are having a good effect by having sort of a virtual assistant to do all the scheduling and maybe take some of the orders and things like that, where you don't have to have a person full time. There's different resources that are out there too, because of technology that can really free up your hands to go do the stuff that you do best, which is the making of the goodies. But that's but then the first part you have to train somebody and bring them on, and but there are some that you can. It's like a contract online or something like that for these virtual assistants, and I've heard that there's been some good success with those folks to assist businesses.
I'm looking into some options, especially hiring an accountant, because that's the whole new world. I don't do numbers, I do cakes. So yeah, there's many things I'm trying to see, like what I can give to somebody else, where I can just focus more on cakes.
Right. And so again, with all that, and you're knowing that you don't have any free time, there's just this drive with business owners that they're willing to put in this kind of time because they believe so firmly in it. And again, congratulations to you and kudos to you for this kind of effort. Some people say, oh man, they're crazy. They're working all this, but you know what? There's a satisfaction of owning your own thing and creating your own thing, right?
Yes. It's my baby. I'm having the third child and like, I can't, of course there's low times, there are high times, but you have a baby, you have to do it.
Right. And you're trying to raise something, in the first couple of years are tough. You recognize that, but you maybe see out there over time that this could, develop into something wonderful and beautiful. And I hope that does for you, that these cakes, that these Rawberry cakes, these Rawberry desserts, not just cakes, Rawberry desserts go far and wide in Hawaii, and that we all get a little bit healthier and maybe get you some time off.
Yes, I still dream about that day when I just don't even go out of my bed. That's my dream.
just go to bed, sleep one night. I'd like to sleep one night, please. Anyway. Well, Inga, you've been a joy to have on the Hawaii Boss. I think all of our listeners have learned a lot, and what it takes to really make it go. And you're still in the throes. You're fighting it out. You're in the trenches. Making this happen. And
yes, I'm still in the diapers.
Well, everyone's got to start. We start with milk and then keep going. But again, you're willing to just sort of bite off stuff and try it out without knowing and just going for it. And that's I think everyone can learn a great lesson from that. So again, Inga, thank you so much. Anything else that you'd like to say out there before we let you go?
No, just try that. If you never had healthy desserts, try them. Believe me, you will not want to go back. Try them.
Once you had that raw, you never go back. Okay, so that's that should be the underneath Rawberry desserts. Once you anyway, we're excited for you. We hope this you get lots more customers and you'll do 30 cakes next week.
Oh.
I'm teasing. Anyway, we hope for great prosperity for you and your family.
Thank you so much, David. It was absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Well, come back in a little bit and tell us how well it's going, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Take care. Aloha.
Bye, David. Aloha.
All right. Bye-bye.
Make sure to subscribe to Hawaii Boss and follow us on social media at Hawaii Boss Podcast at the links in the description. We'll see you soon in the boss's office.